Welcome to Gossip Guide, your ultimate source for anything celebrities. Please subscribe and click the bell button for insights if you are new to my channel. She's known as an Oscar winner, a humanitarian, a mother of 6, and a Hollywood icon. But before Angelina Jolie was celebrated for her activism or red carpet elegance, she was something much rarer in the 1990s entertainment world: unapologetically queer. Angelina Jolie has never fit into any one box. And when it came to her sexuality, she refused to play by the rules of a Hollywood that demanded silence, perfection, and strict labels. While she never declared herself a lesbian, Jolie was one of the few mainstream stars to openly admit her attraction to women, years before it was considered safe or marketable. In the mid-90s, Angelina was still rising through the Hollywood ranks when she met model and actress Jenny Shimizu on the set of the film Foxfire. The chemistry was instant. Jolie didn't just acknowledge the relationship, she celebrated it. In interviews, she said, "I would probably have married Jenny if I hadn't married my husband. I fell in love with her the first second I saw her." It was a bold statement at a time when most stars stayed closeted out of fear of career suicide. But Jolie was fearless. She didn't care about fitting in. And for young queer fans, her openness was groundbreaking. But being out, or even partially out, came at a cost. Tabloids jumped at the chance to sexualize her. Headlines painted her as wild, dangerous, and unhinged. Her queerness was often framed as a phase or fetish rather than something real and valid. She wasn't respected for her honesty, she was sensationalized for it. Instead of exploring her identity with support and curiosity, Jolie was pushed into a media circus. She was asked invasive questions, shamed for her choices, and watched by an industry that couldn't decide whether to admire her or reject her. At the time, being open about loving women was considered a career risk, especially for a woman whose beauty was often her most marketed asset. Jolie wasn't just fighting for space as a queer person, she was fighting for the right to be complex, messy, and real. Behind the scenes, she dealt with trauma few people understood. She was open about her struggles with mental health, her strained relationship with her father, and a deep sense of feeling like an outsider. Her queerness was just one part of that, but it added another layer to her battle for acceptance. Hollywood tried to mold her into something palatable, but Jolie couldn't be tamed. Whether she was kissing her brother on the red carpet, wearing a vial of Billy Bob Thornton's blood around her neck, or speaking about her relationship with Jenny Shimizu, she always told her truth, even when it made people uncomfortable. In a way, she carved out a space where no one else had. Jolie's queerness didn't fit the industry's narrative. She wasn't a pop star using girl-on-girl kisses for shock value. She wasn't a tragic character in a coming-out story. She was just Angelina. Fierce, fluid, and free. Over time, she became more known for her relationships with men, her marriages to Billy Bob Thornton and Brad Pitt, especially. And the media used that to try and erase the queerness she had once spoken about so openly. But it never really disappeared. Jolie has never denied who she is. She simply refused to let the world define it for her. Her past with Jenny Shimizu remains an important chapter, one that continues to inspire queer women around the world. Jolie never felt the need to choose a label, and in that choice, she helped challenge the rigid binaries so many people feel trapped by. In the years that followed, she shifted her focus to activism, directing, and motherhood. But her impact on queer visibility in the late 90s and early 2000s still lingers. She showed a generation that queerness could be powerful, beautiful, and defiant. What makes her story even more powerful is what she didn't do. She didn't rebrand. She didn't deny. She didn't bow to pressure to make herself more marketable or palatable. She simply kept living, and in doing so, she created a new blueprint, one where queerness doesn't need a label to be valid, where love isn't confined to a headline, and where complexity is something to be celebrated, not erased. Angelina Jolie may not be the loudest queer voice in the room, but her early openness helped normalize what others were too afraid to say. She showed that attraction, identity, and love can exist beyond definition, and that being queer doesn't make you any less powerful, talented, or deserving. She faced backlash. She was misunderstood. She was called every name in the book. But she didn't stop. And that, in itself, is revolutionary.